Um, all right, so a warm welcome all of you. Namaste, greetings, and good evening. Um, my name is Gopala Krishna. I hail from a small town on the east coast of India called Vishakhapatnam. Um, and for the last 2 to 3 years, I've been offering these walking journeys in the Himalayas. And before that, I was uh, exploring what to do, exploring life for about a few years. And before that, I was working in the film industry in Bombay and Hyderabad as an assistant director. So that's a little bit about my career. And during the lockdown is when I moved to the Himalayas and started living in the Himalayas. And I happened to do this walk from Rishikesh to Gangotri during just after the lockdown opened. There was a window, where people were moving, and I used that opportunity to do a long walking journey from Rishikesh to Gangotri. And this journey had a very profound impact on me and my life. And I was partly inspired to do this because of a book that I read many years ago. It's called Sacred Waters. And the book is based on the pilgrimage of a guy called Mr. Steve Alter. He walked from Haridwar to Gangotri, and he documented his journey in that book. And I probably read that book about a decade ago, and that had a very strong imprint on my mind. So when I was living in Uttarakhand during the lockdown, I somehow felt that I should recreate this journey that I read about many years ago for myself. And that is how I did this walk. And that was also the time when I was thinking about what I should do for work. And I felt that probably I could offer this experience to people walking along the river or traveling along with the river. So I started offering these journeys called Pada-yatras, which were week-long experiences where we would travel from Rishikesh to Gangotri. Initially, these were slow journeys. We used vehicles. We, because this was the journey from Rishikesh to Gangotri probably takes about 8 hours if you drive all the way. But if you walk, it takes close to 40 to 40 days, 30 to 40 days if you walk slowly. So since people don't have that kind of time, we did part of the journey in vehicles, part of the journey walking, and we spent the nights in villages and in ashrams along the river banks throughout the way. And I offered a few of these experiences in 2021, 22. Starting this year, I wanted the walks to be completely by walk. So the pictures that you're seeing are from a walk that I organized in February from Rishikesh to Devprayag. This is about 90 kilometers, and it took us about 6 days to do this journey. And the route that we take on this yatra is the ancient walking trail, which is no longer in use anymore. Before the road was built about 60, 70 years ago from Rishikesh to Badrinath, people would take this walking route to travel, to Kedarnath and Badrinath. But after the road came on the other side of the river, this ancient pilgrim path stopped being used. And it almost fell into disuse to the extent that most of the dormitories, temples, they're all completely abandoned right now. So these are some pictures. You have the participants walking along the river. And between Rishikesh and Devprayag, every 10, 15 kilometers, you have those bridges, which were built by the British, these walking bridges, hanging bridges. We camp. Most of the nights we camp. Some of the nights we stay in temples and village homes or in ashrams, wherever it is possible. But a few days we camp on the river banks. And this is not organized as a journey where everything is provided. I mean, we carry our own tents, and the participants self-manage this yatra by themselves. The responsibilities are shared among the group members. cooking, cleaning, carrying, packing, unpacking, setting up the camp, loading, unloading. All of these things are done by the participants along with the facilitators together as a group. Um, um, so so this is in one of the villages along the way where the participants are cooking. I believe one or two among the participants have turned up for this session. I think Pinky in that group and Manas are there in this session right now. We can go to the next slide, and yeah. So this it's a very special journey, this particular journey, because for about 6 days you're constantly walking with the river. You're sleeping on the banks of the river, you're walking along the river, and you see the river in different moods, in different forms, different colors. And it has a deeply healing and transformational impact on people. So this is a cave near Devprayag, where we were having tea. So that this picture is from that cave. Yeah. So part of the road is a complete trail which passes through untouched villages like this, where you won't find a single bit of concrete. And to reach this village that you're seeing on the screen, it takes about 4 to 5 hours of trekking. And there is no road, and hence cement and modernity has not reached these villages yet. The very experience of spending time in these villages, I think, is it changes the perspectives of many people. You come across mud houses, the traditional cultures, traditional wisdom, traditional way of life, agriculture, sustainability, all of these things. And part of the route is unpaved. We have to trek through trails, but part of the route passes through these routes which are called Teen Futia. Teen Futia is basically 3 feet wide mountain routes, which are used by the villagers to travel from one village to another village. So we take frequent breaks on these yatras. So this is one such break where everybody is breaking for a snack. We can go to the next picture.
This, I believe, is the last one, Gopala.
The last one. Okay, so those are some pictures just to give a glimpse of the yatra. I call it the Ganga pada-yatra. Maybe you can show the poster once, Atul.
Yes.
The main poster.
Yes, I'll move to it.
Yeah. So this is a picture of the group crossing a small stream that meets the Ganga River at a place called Fulchatti. And you can see that everybody is carrying a lot of load. Since I don't have the bandwidth to have the camps set up every day and to have the food ready by the time people arrive, so I made this into an experience that people take co-responsibility for. So the food and the utensils are packed in everybody's bags in bits and pieces. People carry their own tents, and some people carry the tents, those who can, and people carry their own sleeping bags. So this is how this yatra has been designed. And the first yatra was quite successful. Of course, there were challenges. It was definitely not a cakewalk. It was difficult for most people. But at the end of the yatra, I think everybody came out with a lot more, learning and with much richer experience. So this is my most recent offering. Before this, I did the same yatra all the way from Rishikesh to Gangotri, but we would use vehicles to transport people. But also every day for about 2 to 5 kilometers, I would make the people walk along the river for an experience. And we would spend the mornings doing meditation on the river banks. The evenings we would spend on bonfires along the river banks, having sharing circles and kirtans and likewise. So I did about 4 to 5 of those Ganga yatras. Some of them went well, some of them were challenging, but I wanted to fine tune the participation. A lot of my biggest challenge has always been people coming expecting services which I could not provide. Because this was a very basic yatra. And the facilities were because we were living in ashrams, we were living in villages. It was not always convenient. I mean, there would be terrains which were difficult to navigate. Uh, but people, when they come with a mindset of service of services, of purchasing services, somehow I felt there was a mismatch between the reason why people were joining the yatra, but some of them, of course, I mean, I don't mean everybody, and what the yatra could offer, and the purpose for which I wanted the yatras to be attended or to be joined. So hence, the complete walking yatra is something that I started this year. And since we couldn't do the whole thing from Rishikesh to Gangotri in one yatra, I decided to break it down into three parts. From Rishikesh to Gangotri, about 7 days in the 6 to 7 days in the first phase, and then Uttarkashi to Gangotri in the second phase, and then Gangotri to Gomukh, which is the glacial source of the river, and back to Gangotri in the third phase. So this is the plan, and I want to do these yatras, at least one of each of the three yatras in a year. And this is of course a work in progress, and I'm still learning and trying to figure out how to make this experience worthwhile for people, and also a rich experience for everybody, including the facilitators, including me, including the volunteers, and everybody. And the purpose, of course, of inviting everybody in this session, including Mr. Sujit was wondering why he's invited, is so that we could learn collectively from each other. I can speak for myself that I know that there have been people before me who have done this, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I know that Journey with Meanings has been hugely successful in offering rich experiences to people. I know Madhusudan Bhai has been offering such experiences. And I've heard a lot about Sujit's walks from my friend. So, I thought if we could hear from, these people about their intentions, how they design the yatras, and, what kind of challenges they face, and how they overcome those challenges, how they work around those challenges, then that would help me immensely in learning and implementing them in my own yatra. So that for me is the biggest takeaway from this session, and the reason why I think I would invite everybody else, all the resource people in this session. So those are the things that I'm willing to. So rather than share about my yatra, of course, I'll take any questions that people have and share more about how I do it and why I do it. But I'm equally interested in learning about everybody else's, especially the resource people that we invited. I'd like to learn about their projects as well and how they go about doing their projects. So that's about Ganga Pada-yatra. That's my sharing. Thank you.